It is 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, July 30th, 2011, and I am standing outside at Washington, D.C.'s historic Eastern Market on a small patch of dirt in 97-degree heat without a tent, about to give my first ever live farm market cooking demonstration. I have no culinary training. I have never cooked in front of an audience, and I know so little about what I am about to do that 2 hours from now I will find myself icing down salad bowls because the greens are melting when they hit the hot metal. Things could look better. On this same morning, I am 8 years into a successful career as Director of Membership and Marketing for a national trade association. I live in a beautiful neighborhood on Capitol Hill with my incredible husband of 2 years, Jason. At 37 years old, I have checked every before you turn 40 box, and life is good. But on this morning, when I step up to my table and I start cooking and I start talking and the first person walks up, I come alive. 3 hours later, sunburned and drained, I am bursting with energy, joy, and satisfaction. I feel amazing. The following Monday, I'm back in my air-conditioned office. I'm wearing a suit and I'm doing Director of Membership and Marketing stuff. But I return to the market to cook the following weekend, and the next, and the next. I am back there every Saturday, week after week, without fail, and without pay. So fast forward. 2 years later, my boss, Bob, is retiring. And a week before he leaves, he calls me into his office, gives me a huge raise, and says, "Jonathan, you are smart and really good at what you do. If you keep going, within a few years, you'll be the CEO of a national trade association. But I see the passion you have for these cooking demonstrations you're doing. It is time to make a choice. If you stay the course, you will be successful. But if you pursue cooking, I think you could achieve far greater success, or you could fail. It's time to make a choice and decide how much of a risk you are willing to take." On August 1st, 2014, almost exactly 3 years to the day from my first live cooking demonstration, I went full-time as a storyteller, cook, and author. I have now performed live in front of more than 300 audiences. I've written 3 books of stories and recipes. I have filmed YouTube series for multiple clients. I've been interviewed by USA Today, and I've had recipes appear in the Washington Post. I have, by every measure, far exceeded the success I ever enjoyed as an association exec. But more importantly, I get to spend every day bringing people joy. At farm markets, in offices, at conferences, in their homes. Most importantly, though, I have days when I'm afraid. I have days when I am tired. I have days when I don't feel like doing the work in front of me. But since I made this choice, I haven't had a bad day. Not one. Not even when I have to get the bookkeeping done. And this work brings me joy. And that joy makes me a better husband, a better son, a better brother, and a better uncle. So awesome. Go, be amazing, end scene. But wait. What does it mean to be amazing? Do you just leave your boring office job and go become an artist or an activist? No. The problem wasn't my job as Director of Membership and Marketing. The problem, and this is how I define being amazing, is that in that job, I was not fully using the gifts, the strengths, and the talents that I've been given. I was working for the American Nursery and Landscape Association. It's an organization that supports an industry that I believe in. It's one I grew up in. My family owned garden centers and a landscape business. The work that we did helped build more successful businesses. Those businesses, in turn, contributed to stronger communities and economies. And they supported all of the owners, their employees, and all of their families. I was good at my job. but someone who is using their gifts to be an amazing director of membership and marketing would have brought in more dollars and more voices to support the other people on our team who were using their gifts to be amazing lobbyists and meeting planners and delivered more value to our members. My boss Bob was right. The path I chose presented a great risk, but not choosing that path presented an even greater cost. When we choose not to be amazing, not to embrace and pursue our passions, not to use our great and special gifts, we leave our communities, our economies, and our society poorer. And that impact is felt daily by the people we love, our friends, our parents, our children, our partners. So being amazing, it's not so simple as just going and pursuing a career that is creative or mission-driven, although that may be your path. It is about pushing ourselves to find work that allows us to leverage our gifts, and by doing that to create value that is measured in impact, in dollars, and in joy. So how do you do it? Well, it is not a straight line path. When I was young, I wanted to be a teacher. In high school and college, I pursued theater. In my early 20s, I discovered my passion for cooking, and as I turned 30, I finished an MBA and went off to a corporate marketing job. I was 37 years old before I gave my first cooking demonstration. Looking back, it all makes perfect sense. But looking forward, I never could have predicted this path, and I don't know where it's taking me from here. So I can't give you a roadmap to happiness and success, but I can help set your compass. First, trust the future. I spent so much time worried about money and success. I gave everyone else the advice to follow their passions, use their gifts, be amazing. Do what you love and don't worry about the rest. It was terrifying when I took that advice for myself, but I believe in it now more than ever. You may not make the most money and you may not enjoy the most widely recognized success, but in doing this, you will find joy. And in that joy, you will find all the money and success that you need. And if you need a lot, you can find a lot. Someone here is sitting and thinking, but what if I don't have a passion? Elizabeth Gilbert, who is the author of Eat, Pray, Love, was interviewed on NPR by Robin Young in 2015 about her new book, Big Magic. And Robin asked Elizabeth, do you have any advice for people on following your passion? And Elizabeth said, I don't. I think if you have a passion, by definition, you're already following it. Passions don't give us much choice. All right, Robin said, well, what if you don't have a passion? Then, Elizabeth said, follow your curiosity. Find something that interests you and research it, pursue it, build a life and a career around it. There are far worse ways to live than following your curiosity. Okay? But before you give up on having a passion, I have one more thought. What is the last thing you did that was exceptional? That made you feel so good, so proud to have accomplished, that brought you joy? Is that what you're doing right now? I think there are people who have a passion to use their gifts to be amazing doctors and artists, to build schools in third world countries, or to bring people joy and better health as personal trainers. And I think there are people for whom their passion is not about their job at all. I had a classmate in grad school, Kelly Dawson. Kelly could read spreadsheets like they were novels. While the rest of us were scrambling around analyzing data, Kelly was reading between the lines to see decisions that had been made and strategies that had been set. Today, Kelly is using her gifts as an amazing CPA, supporting a nonprofit that seeks to build stronger families in at-risk communities. There is my accountant, Steve Littlewood, who has a passion for seeing small businesses grow and succeed. Steve is good at giving advice on things like tax strategy and spending, but When there's a problem, he comes alive. Give him an audit, a cash flow crisis, unpaid taxes, and he will see the businesses through to brighter futures. I don't know if either Steve or Kelly would claim a passion for accounting, but they are both clearly living their passions nonetheless. So, what is the last thing you did that was exceptional? Take the time and the risks to follow that thread, that curiosity. Talk to people, try things until you are spending more and more time being amazing, creating value and creating joy in your life and for the people you share it with. So that's it. Follow your passion, find joy, be amazing. And there is one more thing. Every day on this path, I face fear. And the greatest of those fears is the fear of failure. The fear that I am going to follow my dreams and passions, that I am going to fully employ my greatest gifts, and I will still fall short. My first book took 2 years to achieve the sales that I expected to see in 2 months. There was that cooking demonstration I did at USDA where I forgot to bring a knife, which is the one tool that you need to have if you're going to give a cooking demonstration. There's the demonstration where I forgot to bring a cutting board. That would be the other tool that you need to have if you're going to give a cooking demonstration. But enough about the small stuff. I want to talk about just how badly you can fail and still come back. When I was 20 or 21 years old, I took over cooking Christmas dinner from my mom. I'm one of 3, she is one of 7, so usually there'd be about 10 of us around the table on Christmas Day. My immediate family, a few older relatives. 2 days later, my mom's 6 brothers and sisters, all married, all with children, would descend upon the house, 40 people in all, and she would cook a second Christmas dinner. And by the time I'm 20 or 21, she's not having fun with this anymore. So I said, at least let me take over Christmas Day. She says yes, and the 3rd year I'm doing this, I decide that I'm going to make beef Wellington and baked Alaska. I had never made either of those before in my life. And so I started looking for recipes online. This was a little early in the internet, so I couldn't find them there. I go to my collection of cookbooks. I start flipping through. The 1970s ruined beef Wellington and baked Alaska for everyone, so I couldn't find them there either. My mom finally finds them in an old Julia Child TV series cookbook, buys the ingredients for me, and I open up the cookbook at 11:30 on Christmas Eve. The first set of instructions is how to make the 24-hour marinade for the beef. I had a lot less experience and a lot more confidence back then, so I thought, I'm good. I kept reading. The next set of instructions was how to make the pastry from scratch to wrap around the beef. I still thought I was good. In fact, I was so confident, I went right ahead and made the ice cream and the sponge cake from scratch for the baked Alaska. You may see where this is headed. At 11:30 the next night, my irate family finally sits down to Christmas dinner. And at 12:30, I bring out the baked Alaska. And usually when you serve a baked Alaska, you flame some alcohol over the top. And I had never flamed alcohol before in my life. I didn't know it helps if you warm it up a little bit first, so I end up pouring an entire bottle of cherry brandy over this baked Alaska, none of it burning off. By the end of dinner, my entire family is now asleep, except for my 11-year-old brother, who is completely trashed. At which point, I announced that I'm going to make this same meal 1 year later and get it right. And for some reason, they say yes. So fast forward, 12 months, December 25th, 1 year later, 8:30 at night, beautiful beef Wellington hits the table. And at 9:30, I pull the baked Alaska from the oven. And this thing is enormous. The platter it's on is so big, my mom only has one tray that it will fit on. It's about a half an inch bigger all the way around. So I set the platter on the tray, I walk into the dining room, and I set the tray on the hot pads in the middle of the dining room table. I've learned my lesson on flaming alcohol, so there's a small pan of warm cherry brandy over on the sideboards. I drop in a match, blue flames, perfect. I dim the lights, pour some over the top. There's smiling faces all around. It is magic. And there's more alcohol burning in the pan. And I pour some over the top, and Norman Rockwell should have been in my family's dining room capturing this moment. And there's more alcohol in the pan, so I pour it over the top, and that's the moment when, well, it leaps right over the edge of the tray into the French on the hot pad, and it sets the dining room table on fire. And I'm fortunately wearing an oven mitt, so I am stomping out the flames, and I finally get the table extinguished and decide, maybe the alcohol shouldn't be in the dining room anymore. Let's head to the kitchen. So I pick up the pan and I start walking forward. If you've ever walked forward with a pan of flaming alcohol before, you may know the flames jet backwards. I used to have a lot more hair than this. So I am now walking sideways, and I decide, skip the kitchen, we're gonna hit the sliding door to the brick patio. I get to the door. It is December 25th in New England. There's a brisk breeze blowing in. There's no way this pan is getting out the door at the same time as me. So I finally throw it out onto the bricks where it burns itself out. And they still let me cook Christmas dinner every year. No matter how badly you mess up, you can always come back. So get out there. Make mistakes. Trust the future to hold everything that you need and desire as you follow your passion and you use your gifts. And be amazing. We need you.